Greetings to Strayer University students, especially students in Business 313, Introduction to Entrepreneurship. I'm excited to give you some instructional support on how to put the PowerPoint presentation together for the business plan that we have written from week 1. So I'm going to share you how to put the PowerPoint together, and these templates have been uploaded to the announcement section, and they were sent via email to each one of you. So you should have a copy of that. So again, I'm going to share some insights on how to put your PowerPoint together effectively and efficiently. So since week 1, we have discussed about the business plan in different components. You started in week 1 with an assignment where you had to write a brief description about a business that you want to have or a business that you currently haven't. So the business plan is due on June 21st, 2021. So this is a combination of assignments 1, 2, 3, and number 4. And this assignment is worth 160 points. So what must be on the PowerPoint presentation? So you must write an executive summary, the business models, target market, startup funds, and exit strategy. So these are the the important components of a business plan. So for the PowerPoint presentation of the final business plan, you need to make sure that you have 7 on a minimum, 7 slides, with the first slide to be your cover page. And I have emphasized about this. You need to make sure that you have a minimum of your name and the date that you write the paper. All right, that's the minimum because people need to know who writes something. Then on slide number 2, you need to have an executive summary. Remember, an executive summary needs to include brief description of the 3 possible business model, what funds you will use, who will be your target market, and what is or what are the exit strategies that you have in place. So those must be on the executive summary. Then your slide number 3, you need to discuss the business models. You need to identify 3 business models that can be used by the business. And out of the 3, choose one that best fits your business model, your business concept. Then, of course, you cannot just depend on the business model to generate revenues. You need people to come and patronize your business so they can purchase the products or services that you plan to sell. So who is or who are the primary target market segments? Who will be your secondary target markets? So after your startup, your target markets, which is slide number 4, you need to focus on your startup funds. What funding sources you will use? What is your working capital? And how you will go about to obtain the funds, and what funding sources you will reject. So the information needs to be in your slide number 5 for the startup funds. And of course, you need to have an exit strategy. In case of an extenuating circumstance, what is your strategy? What are you going to do? So those are the important parts that you must include on the business plan. And of course, you need to have the speaker's note. Pretend this is a real PowerPoint presentation. You need to make sure you emphasize and state the important details so those who listen to your business plan can be convinced to give you support. You have to sell the business plan. So you need to talk what is relevant and what is not relevant. You don't want to talk about everything because a business plan is not just 1, 2, 3 pages. It includes small details, but you don't want to tell the small details to those who want to give you financial support. But those small details can be really important later on, but you need to make sure that you identify the major points. So if you use referenced sources to supplement or to enhance your ideas for the business plan, you need to cite so you can give proper credit. So this will be slide number 8. There you go. These are the total slides that you need to have for the PowerPoint presentation of the final business plan. So then you need the cover page. The second page, the second slide is called the executive summary, which is a brief overview at the beginning of a business plan. For this assignment, you must include your business concept. What is that you are trying to sell? The business models, the target market, the startup funds, and exit strategy. So make sure you include a brief description of your startup or existing business. Then, after you mentioning about the startup funds, you need to include a slide called exit plan or strategy. Remember, not all businesses have success, but when entrepreneurs decide to call it quit, they need to have a plan. Okay, so what are they going to do when they have an emergency? They might close the business for a week or a month, but they cannot close for 2 months or 3 months. Bills have to be paid. Workers have to be compensated. But if you close the business, how are you going to have the funds to pay for these working capital? So you need to have an exit plan or a strategy. No strategy is the best strategy. The best strategy is the one that best fits your business and personal goal. So from the written assignment to the PowerPoint presentation. So every assignment I emphasize about the importance of having a cover page. So this is your slide number 1. Then you need to have the business model, the target market, the startup fund. So you see how I included, you see how I include the executive summary here. So for the PowerPoint, you need to have that. Then after the startup fund, you need to have an exit strategy. And of course, you need to identify the sources. So for the PowerPoint, you need to have a cover slide. Slide number 2, which is the executive summary. Slide number 3, the business models. Slide number 4, target market. Slide number 5, startup funds. Slide number 6, exit strategy. Slide number 7, speaker's notes. And slide number 8, of course, the source. The source. Now, these are the learning outcomes that are associated with this project. So one of the learning outcomes is for us to be able to examine entrepreneurship and different types of entrepreneurs. We have analyzed the stages of entrepreneurial process, like your growth stage or the development stage. Examine the process of innovating and developing ideas and business opportunities. Analyze different innovative business models to determine the best model for a specific venture. So these are our learning outcomes. A total of 13 learning outcomes where you have to clearly and concisely write about entrepreneurship using proper writing mechanics. So I posted these instructional support already in the announcement. So as you can see here, this is the actual PowerPoint that you need to have. So this is the cover page. You see how I put the title of this work, the name, okay? The name of the business that I plan to have, the date, who is the course instructor, where is this course related to, and the name of this course. And you see how I have two images and they are used equally the same spaces. So it's look good for the eyes. So the eye doesn't have to look at different places. Okay, it can focus directly into the slide, which is very effective use of space. Then you need to have the executive summary, you see? Now you see here, I am using the bullet. See, you see the bullet? See how attractive they are? I don't have too many sentences. I have 3 that discuss what my business concept is, what my business model will be, who will be my target, and then how can I be able to get the funding and what fund I will reject. So all of this is the executive summary. And my contingency plan, my exit strategy. And as you see here, this is the business model slide. I mentioned 3 possible business models. Out of the 3, I mentioned about pay-as-you-go, which is the business model that my business will use. Then I focus on the target market. Who will be my primary target? Of course, the young population. And then the startup funds. What startup funds I will use? What funds I will not use? Well, virtual world, which is my business, will need the financial resources such as a commercial loan with the help of Small Business Administration and venture capital from Cedar Ventures and C&B Capital for proposed working capital of $2 million as the startup funds, which virtual world would use for capital resource, licensing fees, legal fees, and other human resources initiative. The exit strategy. So in case this business doesn't do well, we plan to exit by liquidating the business or merging with another business of similar business concept if possible. So this business may enter a merger or an acquisition of similar business. So this is the exit strategy that virtual words will use in case the business closed down. Then these are the speaker notes. I'm just making some important points about what I want to share. So with the current economic situation in Atlanta, which has a need for an entertainment business that geared towards young population. So these are my speaker notes. And so you see here, that's the end of the PowerPoint presentation, because I did not have the slide number 8 for resources, which I did not use. So I don't need to include reference sources. But if you use any of that, you need to cite properly so you don't commit plagiarism, which is a violation of academic integrity at Strain University. I hope this is helpful, informative, and supportive to those who need help in putting the PowerPoint presentation together for the final business plan. By any means necessary, when you do the PowerPoint, make sure you focus on the spacing equally, the use of visual image equally, and be able to share valuable information, okay? Now, I have posted another reading about the do's and don'ts of PowerPoint presentation. Please make sure you read them, okay? So by any means, if you have questions, contact me via my telephone or send me a quick email and I will respond promptly. Have a great time doing your presentation. Good luck to you, and make sure you plan. If you don't plan, you are not going to be effective in putting this together.